Alright YouTube, I'm back. Actually I had a question about how I'm wiring this. So I'm going to help out with that. Show you how I'm doing it. I got some 16 gauge twisted wire here. It's got the positive and the negative twisted together. I use 16 gauge so it'd be a little bit smaller than like 10 or 12 because I don't really have much room to play with here. So this is the hole. This is the port right here, where my 6.5 is gonna go. So I just took my 6.5 out and fed my wire. Show you. Let me get some light in here. Fed my wire up through this hole right here. I don't know if you can see anything, but there's actually a hole to where it goes, and the output outside of it, as this is in between the door and the car, is where the factory wiring hoses or wires are. All I did was I pried this rubber piece right here off. I pried that off, stuck my wire through, and then once I got that through, I pried the other one off going into the car and stuck my wire through there. And let me show you on the inside of where it comes through. There's actually another hole that it had to come through. That hole right there, which is a pain in the dick to get it through. The red wire I used a clothes hanger to get that one through. I just tied it to it and pulled it through, but the 16 gauge couldn't quite do that, so it took me a while, but I finally got it. So that's where that is. I just did that, and what I'm gonna do with it now is I'm gonna take this wire and I'm gonna go to the other side of the car with it. I'm gonna go under the carpet. I'll show you where the red wire is already because I did that one a while back. Used some fat mat to keep it down, or tidy or whatever. That's going up into the CD player. That's the one that's going to be running the 6.5. No, Orion 6.5. I'm just going to do the same thing with this 16 gauge. I'm going to run it through there, run it on the other side of the car. The reasoning for that is I got my power wire. Let me get some light. I got my power wire and my remote wire running on this side of the car. Well, I don't want my speaker wire or my RCA cables running on the same side as the power wire, because the power wire can distort the signal going to the amplifier from the head unit or to the speakers. So I have all my speaker wire and all my RCA cables on this side of the car, passenger side of the car. My power and remote wire are on the driver's side of the car. I actually have my remote wire coming to my fuse box, which is on my cigarette lighter fuse, 15 amp. Reasoning for that is to have a fuse on it. I don't want it running to my CD player. But that's this side of the car. Show you the other side of the car, how this is gonna work. Push this door open real quick. I already did this side of the car with my 16 gauge wire. It's just enough wire right there to get my crossover to run the 15, I mean the 8 and the tweeter. Well, that's what the final thing's gonna look like right there. I might try to push those rubber pieces back in so water doesn't get into it, but not much you can do about that. This is what this one looks like coming down. I'm going to tape it to the ground with some electrical wire. I was using fat mat, but I ran out of fat mat for the time being. to keep the wire down to the ground. Now pull this up, show you what this is going to look like. Here's my 2 RCA cables right now. These are the 2 that I have ran back. I'm going to be putting another one in here. Now this one right here, I'm going to be putting that one in. Got it from the same company. This is pretty much speaker wire. It's twisted. I think it's like 10 gauge probably. I don't know if it's any different, but that's it. I'm gonna run that in my speaker wire all to the back here. And there's gonna come the speaker wire and RCA cables are gonna come through these ports right here. Take the back seat out. There's a little gap right there. And it's gonna be going into the back of the trunk. On this side, I have my power wire and my remote wire coming back here too. Try to keep the power wire and the remote wire separate. Some gap in between, because the remote wire, the power wire does get hot. As you can see, some of the tar from the soundproofing, factory soundproofing, melted onto the wire. Now it's part of the wire. I got my ground wires right there for now. I'm gonna flip them around to have them facing on the inside of the trunk, so I can put my back seat back in. That's pretty much it. That's all the wiring right there. You keep the power and the speaker wire and the RCA cables separate from each other. Each RCA is getting about 4.4 volts. That's what my new CD player puts out. I got 3 outputs on the back of that Pioneer instead of 2, so I'm kind of happy with that. But the 6.5s, they're just factory. They're factory wiring. I'm not going to redo that. They're going to the back of the head unit. The 6.5s in the front, the Orion 6.5s in the front, they are going to be ran with that red wire. So I did redo that, the factory wiring. I just cut that off, snipped that off. But yeah, that's how it's going to be wired. Hope that helps.